think we have a predator.
I think I'm gonna check that way. Good afternoon, guys. I was here in the studio starting my day after a very rough night yesterday. I went outside in the fence, do the last roundup, before going to bed usually, just to check that Esme is fine, that all the food is there, that the water is enough, the regular last check, on the fence. And I went outside the balcony and she was going back and forth, and looking at me, and then back and forth, completely, totally agitated. And then all of a sudden I started to observe the birds, and their sound was completely irregular, also very, very agitated. And so the first thing I thought is, there has to be a predator. We live in the north of Norway. It's 100% not abnormal, to have lynxes and wolverines. And it was our responsibility to make sure that the message could come across to the predators that the piece of land where we live had to stay off their plans, so I didn't know what type. I usually do this with sorcery, I didn't know exactly what type of sorcery, I just had to take a second to think, and then I decided to go for urine sorcery, and that is exactly what we did. And you should see what has happened right after, because the quiet, I cannot tell you, after 40 minutes after the act of sorcery, I cannot tell you the quiet that was outside. And Esme was laying down on the grass, relaxing and enjoying life again. In sorcery, urine is a strong tool in controlling and dominating. It helps in establishing dominance, and it's a powerful repellent. In Norse and Sami witchcraft, the more of your essence that you can gather, the better the outcome. We have used urine sorcery to protect our land and our reindeer friend, Esme, because it literally nails down your property and marks the territory as your own. In the past weeks of very hostile weather, I have practiced a lot of hair sorcery. I've always associated my hair with spirituality and my craft. I often incorporate magic into my hair routines or use my hair for not sorcery. I braid my hair every night before going to bed, and for each and every knot I express gratitude for something happened during my day. Each day my night braid is dedicated to a god. I also use threads of different colors for braiding in order to awaken the sorcery of colors. Black for protection, red for vibrancy and strength. If I set the intention to be more active, more motivated the day after, I will braid tightly. If I set the intention to be more relaxed, I will braid more loosely. I mostly use brushing for releasing unhelpful feelings, for letting go of something I need to let go of. After releasing our previous video on YouTube, where I performed the ritual to return to sender all evil, wearing my newly crafted reindeer antler headpiece, we have been bombarded with requests of crafting reindeer antler headdresses, but our answer is no. As much as the answer sounds harsh, it's important to us that you can understand why it is a no. It took us years of intense contact with the reindeer, knowledge of this animal. It took us the emotional strength to open 2 years ago now our little reindeer healing sanctuary here in Sápmi, where we could help our reindeer herders friends and take care of the sick and weak reindeer. It took me the pain of having my best friend, the reindeer Beaivi, die in my arms on my land after a brutal eagle attack. It took us the joy of saving the life of my reindeer friend, Esme, who lives with us on our land now. It took me the tears to process, absorb, witness my reindeer friend, Angel. He is 12 years old now, in the very moment he shed one of his antlers this year and crying. Yes, he was crying over the lost shed. It took us years to learn the sound of the reindeer so that we could establish connection and attempt communication. It took us years of deep study, field research, not only books, of reindeer husbandry, years of study of veterinary books on the reindeer, to get to a point where I could feel barely confident enough to have Daniel craft a reindeer antler headpiece and wear it so that I could actually truly understand what I was wearing on my head. In the past 10 years, we have seen so many people wearing these types of headpieces, and this is why we won't craft any. And when you guys ask me, what do you think of people wearing these reindeer antler headdresses? One of the trendiest things to do in the pagan community at large is to sport a pair of antlers. Well, I do not judge, and that is for sure. I can only hope whoever goes for a type of headdress like that and wears a full set of reindeer antlers on their heads in the same position where the reindeer naturally wears it will do that having very solid foundations and deep knowledge of the animal. It won't do this out of fashion. These headpieces were once employed up here as ritualistic tools of high power and wisdom, so my best advice to you, my friends, would be go and learn the animal first, as if you do that first, you will wear your headpiece with an understanding of the wisdom and knowledge you have chosen to wear. And remember, in my life, the reindeer didn't come to me. I went to the reindeer. There is no excuses. Do you know what is the most amazing thing about the reindeer? The smell they have when you dig your nose into their neck fur. It is a unique, otherworldly smell. Aim to that smell first before thinking of wearing a reindeer antler headpiece on your head.